Hello, this is Bruno pelletier-bacquaert. So I think I have some good news for you. Today is going to be the final video for Fly Me to the Moon, just in case you were really getting tired of it. So the last video on improvisation, which of course, as I've mentioned before, all the concepts that we are discussing, you may use them for any other song, any other standard. So here's what we're doing today. We're going to improvise freely. What I mean by freely is we're not going to think about what chords really we are playing over. We're not going to think about actual chord tones. We're not going to think about scales. We're not going to think about arpeggios or what have you. We are going to rely solely on our ears, the sound of the notes that we're playing. And not only that, we are going to play a flow of quarter notes only. So it's going to be nothing but quarter notes. So in a way, it's easy because rhythmically we don't have to come up with anything fancy. You're just going to play note, 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 note. And I recommend that you play everything with downstrokes. If you look at my picking hand, you'll see that it's nothing but downstrokes. I'm not going to be concerned about alternate picking or anything like that. This is one note per beat, a downbeat, therefore a downstroke. That's all we care about. So let me show you a little bit what I'm talking about, and then I'll talk about the different things that we can investigate there. All right, so I'm going to use a play along. And I'll just improvise off the top of my head with it. So I skip the first measure, right? Here's because I was talking. So I'll stop here. That's one course. So what am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I not thinking about? Well, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible on myself. So I'm not really thinking too hard about what the chords. Of course, I'm so familiar with the song that I can't help thinking, oh, okay, first half of the song starts with A minor, D minor, G7. I know the chords inside out. But what I'm playing is not really depending on that. So I really go by sound. Now, of course, we've been working for a few weeks now on all those different devices. We've been playing outlines, we've been playing thirds and sevenths, we've been playing patterns, all kinds of things. The melody, of course. So everything really comes as a whole, and that's what you want to tap into. But you don't want to think strictly about one approach. I don't want you to start thinking, oh, here I'm going to play this scale because I'm on the C chord, therefore I know I can play a C major scale. Or here I'm starting with the A minor chord, so I'm going to arpeggiate an A minor 7 chord. You can. I mean, you can actually get started with that, just to get the ball rolling. But eventually, it's the flow of the notes that matters. So some of the notes that I played weren't that great. I could tell that note, all right, whatever. But whatever, there's nothing I can do about it. I just played it. I need to live with it, and I need to continue. So what's very important is to not stop the flow. And at one point I did say chromaticism because I was walking up on one string in half steps. So yes, there are a lot of chromatic passages that you can use. So essentially we're talking about bits and pieces of arpeggios. So like at the beginning I can play out of my A minor, I can go we do da dee dee and so forth, and just move into another chord. No, that was notes of the D minor chord, etc. But again, maybe you'll think about that for the first measure, like just to get yourself started, so that you don't know, oh, what note am I going to play? I don't know what to play. Just like, decide on what you start with, but then that's it, let it happen. And you have to trust your ears. You have to trust that what you are going to play is going to work. Okay, now what I did not explain is why we were doing this flow of quarter notes. I've explained that in one or two videos previously, but the idea is the same. The concept here is that I want to anticipate the chord changes. I want to play something as soon as the next chord arrives. In other words, we're not playing tentatively, like someone who kind of waits for a certain chord to happen. Okay, now I can play that. Okay, I know next, I know there's a G chord coming. Okay, here it is, now I can play that. So that's not how it works. You basically need to play a certain note when you enter a certain chord. When I say a certain note, I mean a note that will fit the next chord. And there's a lot of chord. I mean, we have a new chord on every single measure, and even at times we even have two chords per measure, right? So we need to know what we're doing, and we need to not rely on the backing track for that matter. I mean, that's ideally something that we should be doing without the chords. I'm using the chords so that you hear where I am, in case you're not sure, but we should be doing this thing without the chords. Like if I were going 1, 2, 3, 4. How about some volume? 1, 2, 3, 4. Etc. So I went through only the first half of the song here. This is something that we should be doing, like I said, without backing track, but for now, let's use it. So you can use everything that we worked on up to this video. The outlines, a lot of the outlines were quarter note based, so you can put some in there, like what's one? We had those grouping. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Things like that. Start with groupings. Start with arpeggios. Anything that will work. Now, very important also, you want to hum or moan or sing or grunt, know what you play, because that is the only way you are going to really tap into what you are hearing inside. So I think that's it. Another thing I was going to say is don't bite more than you can chew. In other words, avoid large leaps. Particularly if you stay on one string, like don't go, don't do things like this unless you really are sure that that's here that was A minor, so A, C, E, unless you know that. But if you don't, stay with whole steps and half steps. And another thing we can do is just stay on one string for a while. So I'll demonstrate that, for instance. Just I'll start playing on the first string for a while, then I'll play on the second string whenever I feel like it. So second string. So I'm using a lot of half steps. I'm gonna go to the third string. So I think you get the idea. It's actually easy. It should be very freeing to do that because, like I said, you don't have to think so hard about what you're playing. You can play it also a lot slower than I was going. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. You can go like that. You know, it doesn't have to be as fast. However, if you play too slow, it becomes hard to hear the momentum of the changes. So find a happy medium, not too fast, but not too slow either, because it can be a bit of a drag. Okay, so have fun with that. Let me know if you have any questions about this song or any other song in general, and good luck playing that. And remember, don't forget to hum the notes that you're playing, because that's the only way it's going to work. All right, bye.